Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another only episode where we explore the idea, if you could only collect from one brand, what 3 watches would you choose to make up your ultimate trio, your rotation that's going to grace your wrist for the rest of your life? And personally, I really like the idea of having a sport watch, a dress watch, and then like a wildcard piece, one that could really mix up the rotation, because the bulk of my daily wear would come from a sport watch and a dress watch. And the third piece could really add some pizzazz, some uniqueness, maybe some variety when it comes to material or complication or design. So considering Oris here, the topic of today's video, what would I choose? Well, here's the thing. They do sport watches so very well. And I'm not trying to be rude here, but I'm not into any of their dress pieces. So I'm actually not going to choose a dress piece today. I'm going to go with a few sport watches. And my favorite of the lot is the Oris. Now, I've owned the Oris, I've owned the Diver 65. I am partial to dive watches, but the Oris is just my pick. I love the contemporary design. It's original and it's really well done. The problem for me is I like so many of the versions of the Oris that they do. So my first thought is, hey, maybe play it safe, go with black, go with blue. But dang, that green is beautiful. Or the titanium version that I reviewed last month, man, that thing was so impressive in person. The lightweight nature of the titanium, and then that anthracite dial, that really is versatile. It goes in almost any situation. I'm also really into some of the limited edition versions, like this crazy Claseford Reef Gold version, the GMT. I don't think this is realistic for me, so I'm not going to choose this one. But man, they really have some excellent Oris models. I'm looking at the Great Barrier Reef 3. I like how there's this interesting take on the date feature, how it's sunk in this concentric ring here, how there is a sub-seconds at the 9 o'clock position. I'm really attracted to this, but I'm not quite sure if this bluish green color would be great for an everyday piece. So I'm going to go with one of their latest releases here, the Lake Baikal Limited Edition. You guys can see it's a beautiful blue transitional dial. I'm a sucker for blue. I think this would be okay in a day-to-day situation. And instead of, when you look at the back of the watch, you look at the case back, instead of seeing a base grade Sellita with the red rotor, you see this very beautiful case back where the design is taking inspiration from this lake in Siberia where the namesake comes from for this edition, Lake Baikal. You can see an almost melting ice frost look to the case back, and I think that's really attractive. So what would be the next sport piece? I mentioned the Diver 65, but I don't think I want 2 divers in my trio from this one brand. So I'm going to go with the Big Crown. I think the Big Crown is done very well. And the fact that it's retro inspired with the design, I think sits real nicely with my very contemporary Oris pick. So I'm going Big Crown. I'm going pointer date with the incredibly attractive Bordeaux red color. Now, despite this one being very bold, I think it's a versatile piece. I have seen this one in person. So this would be really fun to mix up the straps, maybe wear it on this leather one day, put it on distressed leather. Hey, maybe even put polished Milanese mesh on it. Just have fun with how versatile and how attractive this deep red tone is. I think these would make a really fun 1-2 punch. Now, what would be the wild card to mix it up and bring some variety and a little bit of flavor here to my 2 picks? Well, I like the Oris, the date. I kind of like the chronograph version as well, but really there's one that stands out. And I know it's a little bit divisive and not everyone's going to agree with me here, but hey, these are my picks. These aren't your picks. The Oris Pro Pilot X with the Cal 115. This is an insane, modern, in-house, open-work version sport watch with the 240-hour power reserve. I was fortunate enough to review this and spend a few days with it a couple months back. And I tell you what, guys, this is incredibly impressive in person. So fun, big, bold, great wrist presence, great detail, and I think would just be a great addition to my trio here. So I've got stainless steel, I've got modern, I've got retro inspired, I've got some color, I've got an open work dial, I've got titanium. I think I do have some good variety, and I would so enjoy wearing these 3 watches all the time. But what do you guys think of my picks? What would you choose for your picks? Next week, we're going to be talking about Sinn, the German brand Sinn. So also be thinking about that. And now just as we close, there's one thing I want to add to this format, and that's the pricing and the cost. To kind of see, hey, what would it really take to get your ultimate 3 from this one brand financially? Now we're going to assume you're buying these brand new, and I've got retail prices here for my picks. But the thing with Oris is you can get a pretty good discount from an authorized dealer. Most authorized dealers, almost on any model, will at least do 10% off. Depending on the dealer and depending on the model and the time of year, they may go up to 20% off. But I'm going to say a realistic expectation for a good discount from an authorized dealer is going to be 15% off. So that takes my Aquis price on my limited edition here to $20.40, takes my Big Crown pointer date down to $13.60, and the PPX down to $69.60. So if I total this all up, I'm at $98.60 when it comes to the price, and that's just a shade under $10,000. That might sound quite a bit for Oris, but keep in mind I'm going with this crazy titanium in-house version with this just wild movement that is incredibly impressive. So I'm going to be spending probably a little bit more than the average person on this independent Swiss brand headquartered in the German-speaking region of Switzerland. But man, I love this trio, and this is what it would set me back realistically if I'm going to buy all 3 of these pieces and wear them for the rest of my life. So again, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch. Let me know what you think of my picks. What are your picks for Oris? And again, we're going to talk about Sinn next week. See you in the comment section.